Right, Mr. Bolt, that have you done as our chair? Do you want to call us to order?
Me?
Yeah.
Notice is hereby given that a meeting of the Board of Adjustment of the Town of Buena Vista, Texas will be held Tuesday, January 24th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. at City Hall located at 122 Fernandez Street, Buena Vista, Texas, at which time the following items will be discussed. We'll call to order and we'll have the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Roll call.
Ms. Benson? Mr. Bolt?
Here.
Mr. Hinojosa?
Here.
Mr. Salazar? Mr. Knowles?
Here.
Ms. Chamberlain? Here.
Okay, open forum at this time. Do we have anybody who would like to speak?
We have none at this time.
Okay. Then we'll move on to new business. Discussion, consideration, and potential action. Any of the following items. Consideration and possible action on request variance. Vanderbilt Boulevard, lot 11, block 415, Buena Vista original town site, single family to a fourplex, I-4 residential.
So what I provided you today is the application that was submitted. And then you have behind that the supporting documents. I have a variety of different surveys and whatnot behind it. And then we've also provided renderings of what the applicant is looking to do. These aren't the exact replicas, these are drawings that they have put together for the course of conversation. What the applicant is looking for relief from is in section 28 of our zoning ordinance is the central business district excludes the uses of multifamily. And town reviewed the application, the location of the lot, and right across the Coronado condominium. We don't see a problem with this fourplex being put in that vacant lot, so the town is recommending that the Board of Adjustment grants such a relief from that. But that's this other supporting document that's there. It's just ideas to give you guys the concept of what they're putting, that they're leaving room for parking and all of those.
You said that the council agreed or given permission to.
No, nobody's given any permission. I've reviewed everything. Yeah. I've looked at the surrounding areas of what we already have around. And I don't see a problem from where we're sitting that would say that that they would be violating or something that would recommend that this not be approved. So that's obviously up to you guys. You guys have the final determination. I'm just giving you from what I've looked at from the city standpoint, we don't have an objection. I don't believe by ordinance required to yes. So no.
It's me. In the history of we have a requirement when it comes to issues that are for the PNC. That basically letters go out. Certain. Are we the PNC? No, this is the Board of Justice. They're asking. They're not asking for anything that falls within the PNC's jurisdiction. They're not seeking relief from a specific exclusion that is contained in the set of business. There are already a amount of multi-family use, single family uses. For single family is permitted, but that zoning area primarily designed for commercial. In other words, a commercial entity going in, the residents in that area could commit that.
with my understanding also that if you had a higher education, like called commercial, and if you were a single family, you could not put a commercial in a single family area, but you could put a single family in a commercial area.
Correct. This is zoned as commercial, and so it can go.
Oh, yeah, you're correct.
Down to the retail.
Yeah.
So that should be, they should be able to be done, you know, it's not still before. It be done that way.
Yeah, this is a downtown, so I don't see an issue with that.
The only reason that it's coming before you is because for some reason, and that's correct, that observation is correct. Traditionally, you have zoning ordinances that permit less onerous uses and that less regulated itself up. For some reason, when this ordinance was developed, I think this is draft 2014.
Yes, sir.
There was a specific exclusion for multifamilies in the commercial zone. Specific inclusion of single family. I'm not sure why it was drafted that way, but that's why we felt the need to bring forward the board of adjustments to get a specific from that specific exclusion. Even though traditionally you wouldn't normally have to see it because it's a less onerous ask.
And we do have the owners are not local, so they do have the realtor here if you guys have any other questions, but to represent them. And then Mr. Starkey here if you have any questions about what they have talked about. So we've not contracted with her, and not we just help to provide some renderings that would give you guys an idea if issue has questions.
So, three things. I think as a board, we need to revisit our board of adjustment rules and the planning zone laws for the state, for the city. Because they're outdated, and we're seeing that with the new development coming in and everybody that comes in the door.
Absolutely.
So I would suggest that we put together a workshop to reevaluate not just the plan of the building, but the board of adjustment and how we go about this. Number one. Number two, I wouldn't call it a fourplex, call it two duplexes.
Okay.
A fourplex is going to require 5 strippers.
Okay.
That's because they're connected to
Okay.
So if you continue to call it a fourplex under the code, the fire marshal can come in and say that needs fire sprinklers.
Okay.
Added cost.
All right.
They don't want to go through. Number three, I expect, as you say, it's not the final plan, it's an example of what they built before in other cities. Two things are going to come up is it's FM 510, it's TxDOT, Kansas County. We're going to have a single entrance to the parking area, is what I would suggest.
Okay.
And because that street's too dangerous. Because you've got a rendering here with 6 stalls backing out on the 510 will not work. Okay, so we don't want to see that. The rendering of the site plan is got here 146 feet deep, a lot of 165. It's got some room in the back, so we can easily make that entrance with a 25-foot entrance and park to the left and the right.
Gotcha. Okay.
As long as he meets our parking.
Okay.
So,
This
now, parking requirements is a question. I've got on so too. Is that 2 for you? Or 1 for you? So they're gonna have, does he need 8 parking stalls? Or it looks as though, you know, he's gotten away with 6 and the others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're 2 bedrooms to that.
And just to be clear, those are not anywhere that they built. They haven't tried to get away with anything. They were just for they're just literally to give the idea of the concept for the owner for I can continue to provide it to you guys had all the information possible to sort of make this decision. So it's not gone through anything other than just, you know, this is her ideas and gallery kind of helping her, you know, put an idea to paper. So it's not gone through. Am I right, Mr. Starkey?
Yes, if it's okay about Jason Starkey, Gallery Homes. Thank you all, first of all, happy New Year for coming together. Thank you for your service, this capacity to this community. And as Randy said, this is Sarah, this is the realtor and friend of the client in question. I'm just somebody that was advised, we had a meeting regarding this. I'm not under contract. One of the renderings is from our designer. Mr. Knowles pointed out very clear points. This isn't a rendering for that. It's just what she was thinking. Quadplex, perfect example. We don't want to do a quadplex. We don't want to do the sprinkler system. We don't have that shared wall. So she is very much considering, whether it's me or someone else, of having two duplexes facing each other, adhering to the side setbacks for that lot, knowing there's enough depth to push it back. I wasn't considering the entrance, so I learned just by attending about the 25-foot wide entrance so that we could, and I would anticipate 8 parking spots just by the nature of the two duplexes. This is me just speaking based on one view that I had with the client who's from up the valley and invested in our community because her vision was to carry it out in this way. But because it does specifically say that multifamilies aren't, allowed in this particular zone, that's why it's brought to you to consider an exception. But if we do get the contract, based on our conversation, it would be north of $500,000 worth of real estate that we would be creating. It's actually close to 600. So I think it would be a considerable, addition to our community. But obviously, it's up to this committee or whether two duplexes would be warranted in this commercially zoned area that allows for single family, but right now, not multi-family. And if it is me, I would be working closely with the city to make sure that we're adhering to parking requirements, entrance requirements, fire code, and other things that need to be discussed. Because the proximity of the two units, how far apart they need to be, without compromising the side setbacks, rear setbacks, et cetera, et cetera. So those are a couple things I was thinking of would be open to.
You showed a setback to 5 foot from the fence. But you got that's all open, this courtyard?
But it actually uses the side yards of the backyard for.
Okay, so you're gonna have plenty of setback to the actual building.
I believe so, yes, sir. Again, this was on a different lot than, but I believe it's small. 8, and that's what I recall as well. 8 on each side, 20 in the rear, I believe, 20 in the front. So, yes, that would be the goal. And that's why I included that particular one because I think with the lot differences, we would be able to achieve all of those. So, but thank you guys for coming together for this purpose. Give me a question.
It's drawing here, assuming that the bottom part of 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The color parking is not here. Well, oh, okay, all right, all right.
Yes, it would just be 8. And again, I like Mr. Knowles' interpretation of how this should look. We have one entrance that would open up to 4 slots going this way, so that you would have to get out and come out one at a time.
Back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have to, and I believe that lot's wide enough to facilitate that type of parking environment. And there would be a carport too. I think it needs to be mentioned. That's what she's discussed is a carport covering, not an actual garage. That's kind of what your front elevation would somewhat look like. Not gonna be a flat roof. She wants a slope roof, and then she was more drawn to stucco and stone. So it'll be more of that Tuscan feel that I think we have. It's not gonna be a wire. Showing.
I am restate what I mentioned a moment ago. Okay. Says a lot's 165 feet deep, but that's to the center line of the street.
And so, yes,
Is that correct? So I got 49 feet essentially out of 165.
We've got that
116 feet.
we have that 27 right here.
Well, that's 49, 48.9 feet. 48.57 out of for 165. That leaves me 115 feet plus or minus. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. The building by itself. There's 81 feet deep.
Parking, no backyards.
So that would be from here. This very much, my interpretation is this will also be.
Is that the right way? That's pretty right. Yeah, that's not. That's in the running. That's part of the 5 grand. All the roads. I don't know if you can follow.
This is the road.
Again, the right way is here. Right.
You can have an entrance, 25 foot wide entrance, but you're
But parking won't be on the side.
the other side.
So I think.
Some challenges for sure.
Yeah.
2-story potentially would be what she would go to next. You want to keep it a single story structure, but with those type of adverse dimensions,
Right.
you might have to do this and this,
Right.
which needs to be considered at this level as you consider the multi-family. She doesn't want to have 2 stories. That kind of pigeonhole you in a certain demographic, but another idea was to have it the way it's carried there.
The other thing you might mention, the backyards to the units are actually side,
Right.
so it could go to the building setback.
The tenants, one of the goal was not to be going any more variances, it was just be.
No, I didn't.
What is the rear setback?
20 or 25?
I thought it was 10, so I
Could be
couldn't.
rear 10, front
The
20.
2025, it is, it's commercial, but it's down zone. The city changed the zoning here, that zoning ordinance. For
Yeah, the single family home zoning could, we'd have to look it up, there's 10 in the rear,
I thought it was
20 in the front,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
which you'd be satisfied front with that 27.
So even with 10, I mean, if you got 4 parking stalls by itself, that's 36 feet. At 9 foot stall, 9 times 4, that'd be 36.
9 wide.
The width of the parking stall. If you're turning in at 90 degrees, how wide your parking stall? If we squeeze it down below that, what's the city ordinance on parking stalls? We have a city ordinance on parking stall width?
We might, but I don't know it, so I would need to throw out numbers and stuff, but.
Either expressed in the ordinance or referenced in, by reference to a model.
Yeah, so in big sense of the word, we're trying to help your client understand what the.
What the problem might be, yeah. And what she's hoping tonight to achieve is permission so that she's not hiring an architect to design specifically to that lot and then finding out she can't build on it.
Should be hiring draft.
Well, but hiring somebody to,
She'll be hiring somebody to help them do it.
Yeah.
But the point of the story comes, yes.
we've got to meet all those requirements.
And
and figure out what to
the story to pull it off. And that is,
An 8 foot would be the width, 5 to 6 inches is the width of 5. That's the standard, 132 inches.
okay.
So,
Even that's.
It depends on what the ordinance is.
32
feet. And you got a 10-foot setback, that's already 42 feet off 116. So now I'm down to 74 feet of depth.
That's the
So
case.
this building is 81.
But it has to be 5 years, 100% give you your full. I think one of the units is a 3-bedroom, one of them is a 2-bedroom. So there's room to manipulate that if the client chooses to keep a single story
Right.
structure.
Yeah.
And I just want to stress, those were just provided as examples, you know, I don't want to put out here that gallery provided these thinking that they were, you know, they were just to give you guys the concept. So not the owner nor gallery is going to mean that this was, you know, but it hasn't gone through all the check marks yet, but it was just to help give you guys the visual.
And the only relief requested tonight is to permit multi-family use. And result.
Right.
If the board was approve it, the board wouldn't be binding the city to accept any other any other non-conformity arising from the development process would have to come back
Absolutely.
to get more permission to further deviate from what's required. The only thing that's on the table tonight is whether the multifamily use the zone or not. Nothing specific.
How do the neighbors feel about it? They have single family?
So there is a multifamily unit across the street. I'm not sure how many units are there.
Well, it's the Coronado apartments, is the one that are cut, so it's the Coronado apartments are right across the street.
This is a lot.
Right here between the,
Maybe five.
exactly, right. And then-
Single family current uses that are nearby. Of course, there's actual multifamily zone behind the lots that are in the zone we're talking about right now. So single business that are Steve apartments here. That's the,
Yeah, I believe so.
so
Yeah, because basically you have these apartments here and then the apartments here.
Right.
And everything else is.
well, there are. Well, I won't call them non-conforming single family uses. There are single family uses in the central business zone, but the ordinance permits so they're either there, even though it's that whole zone is central business. So in other words, the primary purpose of that zone is for business.
And I think Mr. Salazar just to catch you up that because in our ordinance, we specifically state, except for multifamily, that's why we brought it here today. We don't want her to, like I said, invest money and run into a problem, halfway through the process. So we're just trying to do our due diligence.
See how the neighbors, yes, neighbors having, what's happening. There's a rumor out there that Dollar General is going to be built right there in that little, and like I said, it's a suburban, next to the storage spaces on Palm. And I know they just built some real fancy houses right there in the corner of the street. It'd be kind of, if I were owning that $300,000 house and then you got a Dollar General come in. I have those. It's own business, right? But in this case, it's not its own business, it's its own single family.
No, it's own business.
It's own business.
I mean, it is. The town has
28. Okay. Based on that. Okay.
The town has discrete zones. They're not a hot spot of see inside city, but they do intersect somewhere. So you will find differing uses that are very close to each other just by virtue of the fact that that's the only way to create a zone. Yeah. There will inevitably be an intersection with single family and other types of uses.
I would look at it this way. I don't have a problem, in the county. I would like the fact that the board members of state that we going to have neighbors hold or inform of what went on. But beyond that, I don't know if neighbors could be against it and affect us either way because it is in some sense a downhill number two. It is commercial to begin with. And people who bought it commercial zone, if they put a single family, they could have thought I could buy office. Or I could sell it for more money and retire. And move in a nursing home or whatever. So there's different mindsets. But in my mind, I'd like to have a community informed of what's going on. I don't know. In my mind, I don't see a zoning board or the administration deciding what goes on for the city, but I'm 22. But we're one ready. So that's sort of my I've fought these battles for 40 years, 35 years. I know what I'm up against, been involved in. And I do reiterate that we visit our zoning law control really good on it. We do have to realize it.
Well, that project is underway, but independent of that, here's what is easier. This board could adopt a rule that specifies a particular type of notice that goes out whenever a matter like a variance goes. We didn't have that in the statute for certain things that went for the PNC, but the PNC board as a whole wanted there to be a procedure provide there to be an expanded notice, not required by the statute. We just adopted the PNC level, just adopted the rule that the right step.
But he just said twice. Again, was so latest, we put the stipulation that he would be okay if the person that the second that would go and get approval from the municipal area. But this according to you, it's different. It won't matter what they say. Let them know. But he said at that time, if the neighbor said no problem, they would get permission to do whatever.
So, I mean, there are different visions of what people who live here have with this. And they're, you know, the file authorities and stuff compared to what the administration, what we say that the real people that own it. I'd like to see the town become more of a rising star of the valley of the other city. And not necessarily something that is represent development for development sake. The golf course is a good example of a good plan. Really, they have the word, but I find it trouble. So, you know, everything that is on development and necessities requirements. I'm not beating a dead horse or anything like that, but you know, this we could look at it from the standpoint of we didn't get some type of business that we didn't want in that location. We were ending up with 4 units. Around units that so yeah, I'm not going to have a feeling around the so that's
And the public has noticed about people. I mean, to hear you guys saying this as neighbors, and we do, you know, this, and this was actually posted, you know, earlier than we are required. So I think I posted it, you know, last. So I don't like the implication that we didn't notice to people because they were properly noticed, in which by which the city has to.
Put it
So
on the internet or whatever, and if it's a regular meeting, some other board is meeting, you look at those, and I know, and most people don't.
so you want me to put everybody's door?
No.
I am.
I didn't say that. That was that even if you put it online, not everybody looks at it when it's coming up.
You notify everybody within 200 feet, correct?
Correct.
And I think that's the rule we'd like to see.
It's 2 houses.
And if, I mean, like Mr. Oakley said, that is something we can certainly adopt going forward.
I mean, why? So it's not you put the whole city, you will get 4 or 5 people.
As soon as it breaks ground, we're gonna have people all over town wanting to do the same thing, buy a lot, and we're gonna put 4 units on. That's on every street.
Well, there ain't too many lots on them streets.
Huh? Yeah. Well, the good part is that we could say we justify this in 2 cents store because it's a down zone for commercial. But they go to a single family down the street, single family lots, they want to put 4 units in the store.
No,
But they'll come.
it won't work.
They'll come because they see it.
What are you gonna make a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we prove it or whatever. Only because we people approve it.
I have a motion from the husband to approve the grant of the variance.
I'll second it.
That's the grant for 4 units. And it's 2 duplexes.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll have a motion to adjourn.
We bring up 1 more comments to Linda. The administration put together a time and date where
Yeah.
you and planning is only
that because I swear what they've done commercial used to not be. That's right. No, I thought I had it with my own stuff here, but I don't. I got it at home somewhere. And I'm gonna find it. Yeah.
Well, we're able to talk about, even though it's not on the agenda, we are able to talk about directions from staff about what items you'd like to see on future. open meetings that really presents us to have that discussion. Even though it might not be fair. So if you'd like to see any we adopt a rule or an informed notice to in situations of various that's something that we just tell Randy we'd like to see this at the next meeting. And then the choice would be we want such an item to be on the next meeting the next time the board meets, like or what the board just for the focus of the
But the workshops, there's probably other things to talk about.
Well, it's not the conference, we're reviewing the rules and see how we want to.
That's really what you're kind of creating basically a couple of one where we first do a review and then another one actually put it in place. Landowner
And probably items beyond that. Yeah.
No, I'm reading this and it's still in there. There's a lot of stuff in here that I'd like to get clarified.
Right. Now the zoning ordinance, revisions to the zoning ordinance, that is a little beyond the scope. Adjustments can take on, but I mean, I guess it would be. Well, and these are
all, it's part of the same thing. Yeah. In the package.
And a little snow.
All the trees. If you look at the package, it's the exact same thing. And that's where they said. And if you go to Brownsville, you go to Harlan, you go to any town in the valley or in the state, you send it in. If something's wrong, it goes back to the builder. If they fix it, send it back before we talk to you. So I suggest that the administration is written something. We just printed 70 extra sheets of paper. You got 7 packets. We probably got, I don't know how many packets we printed or something.
I think it was duplicated by error or something because it's the same.
Clarification was that was very clear on our part with the applicant provided one and when we were after we had already made up. We're seeing that out. So that is on us, not the applicant. So I apologize for the training.
You mentioned that you could find.
No, I was just something I'm curious. Because I remember we had to rezone the little school because it was single family. Now all of a sudden, this 2018 map, all this commercial. I think it was.
Sorry. The maps I have that the one that you brought out. Right. Yeah, so I think this one goes with the 2014.
Yeah, is there a thing allowed?
Beyond that,
I'm not going anywhere.
So do I finish it? You're welcome.
We're confident. I've reviewed it with administrators. It's a CED1. Most recent zoning action, the town most recent zoning action on this address has it as CED.
you know,